Hi, JP here. Recently I was working with a group of people who do very intellectual work, and I asked them to physically embody what they do on a day-to-day basis with their body and with their hands. It's quite hard for many of them to think of anything, and of course at first most of them were doing this, a little bit of mouse work too. And it became increasingly obvious, the more we looked into this, that many people with supposedly intellectual jobs actually have very fine physical skills which they had to learn somewhere along the way. And very often the place where those physical skills are learned is in arts and crafts. So I've come today to the Art Workers Guild to find out more from people who are trying to do something to keep craft skills in education.
We felt it only proper and right that there should be two of us guiding through this process from two very different practices. Well, my name is Rachel Waugh. And I'm here helping Roger Kneebone compare the event. I am a puppeteer and puppetry director, and Roger and I have been collaborating for, I think, over 3 years now, looking at parallels between surgery and puppetry.
My name is Roger Kneebone. I'm Professor of Surgical Education and Engagement Science at Imperial College London. I'm also a Wellcome Trust Engagement Fellow and a brother of the Art Workers Guild here. And you might not at first think that a surgeon and a puppeteer would have very much in common, but it turns out that there are striking similarities. For example,
so there are lots of parallels between open surgery, that's where somebody's essentially cut open, and the kinds of puppetry where you might have several puppeteers working one puppet and working very closely with each other in a way that has to be very fluid and seamless between them, and they might be looking at, in my case, the puppet, or in Roger's case, the patient, rather than communicating with the other people in their team through eye contact. But then things like keyhole surgery is very like rod puppetry, so you're operating tools at the end of a rod or a device that gives you some removed control, and so you have to sense things through the instruments that you're working with rather than directly with your hands.
puppeteers pay great attention to how they prepare their hands. They warm up their fingers with a series of exercises, for instance, every time they perform. Surgeons don't do that, but they could. So once you start to look below the surface, you see that there are fascinating areas of connection that you don't notice if your starting point is surgery or puppetry, but you do notice if your starting point is working with your hands or working together in a close-knit group. My hope is that today will raise people's awareness of the crucial importance of craft in every area of practice, and that we'll be able to get away from this, I think, very unhelpful division between art and science, and this, I think, dangerous misapprehension that if you go for science you don't need art. I think if you go for science, more than ever you need art, because science and medicine are underpinned by craftsmanship.
I really hope today that there'll be new collaborations and connections that have started today that are going to grow into something. We have an amazing group of different experts from such a range of different disciplines, from both arts and crafts and from science, from medicine, and actually even the moment people started turning up and setting up, there were these little conversations about, oh, well, you use that, well, I use this, and actually when I'm doing this I find this, and so I'm hoping that those things can really grow.
What about you? If you work in the arts, or indeed in intellectual discipline, are there some things that you do every day that might actually be done also by people on the other side of that artificial divide? And do you even particularly notice what those things are? As ever, I'd love to hear what you think. Please leave a comment below or get in touch.